25 squad leaders got added into the game, and in this video I'm going to break down every ability and talent of the leaders and how they work. Sergeant Anti-Pulka's passive ability lets him attack a certain number of times, with his talents increasing his movement and attack speed, reducing the damage he takes and increasing his attack range, with his last talent making him able to tank any damage if he is above 50% health. And since he is the first squad leader everyone is going to unlock, he is probably more of the early game squad leader that can just help a tiny bit against player bases. Sergeant Kapata's passive ability spawns a decoy that is distracting defenses, with the talents increasing his attack range and making the defenses instantly retarget after the decoy lands, as well as reflecting some of the damage and damaging defenses once it is destroyed. And one thing that I should also mention is every leader has the same passive ability, Extra Training, which is increasing the level of the active and passive ability, but since it is the same for every leader, I'm not going to show it over and over again. And I have to say, while I like the idea of this leader, it is kind of underwhelming because it takes such a long time to attack and throw the decoy. Lieutenant Tono's passive ability reduces the damage the squad takes while they are not moving, and his active ability launches an explosive to the closest building, with the talents enabling the squad members to attack from a larger range and increasing the range for stationary and moving fire, keeping his passive ability active for a short time after the troops start moving, and launching a grenade when it activates. Torststein bjönson is searching for mines and activating them while taking less damage from them, while increasing the damage from the squad members and their movement and attacking speed, and ignoring the shock effect of shock mines, with his last talent giving him a shield equal to the amount of mitigated damage from the mines. This can make him quite tanky when he is set up to walk through a lot of boom mines, but it can also be hard to get the shield on all heavies with the small explosion range of the boom mine. HVCMD002 has a squad flare and talents that reduce the gunboat energy cost, increase the duration and reduce the damage taken by the squad members while the squad flare is active, and he also reduces the duration of negative effects on the squad members, like the shock effect from shock launchers or shock mines. Julius transfers the damage from the squad leaders onto himself and reduces it, and with his active ability he can teleport across the map, which is one of the coolest abilities and is going to allow a lot of strategic attacks, with the talents increasing his health, his damage, and also apply his passive ability directly onto him. And his final talent letting the squad members stay alive until the leader is lost, which seems kind of interesting but really hard to make it possible that a squad member has 0 HP and the leader still has some health left. And one of the possible ways to use him is going to be an attack like this, on a base that has a lot of splash damage, for example, like these rocket launchers, and you don't need the heavies to tank from the beginning, so his teleporting ability allows him to drop him at any time and then just teleport him to the back, let him tank the rocket launchers, while the other troops are then easily able to clear more defenses. Julius has a health bonus with an increased attack and damage reduction for the leader and squad members, and after she reaches 0 HP she will stay alive for a few seconds. ZKCMD003 also has the squad flare and the same talents that also the cyber heavy has, and that is the case for all troops with CMD and then a number behind that have the squad command. All of them do have the same talents, which makes the Suka squad leader quite strong because she can deal a lot of damage, and one funny thing is she can outrun rocket launchers. Siohobu has a stealth mode, which allows her to avoid microwavers, the radar detection gadget, but she still gets attacked by Simmos, and also reducing the damage the squad members take from mines, reducing the damage while they are stealthed, and increasing their damage. And the final talent letting all squad members stealth instantly after one troop is lost, making her able to take out a few shield generators without using a lot of gunboat energy. The muka has a long range and is able to outrange mortars, machine guns, cannons and sniper towers, with talents making the mukas no longer trigger mines that they walk over, but allowing the squad members to trigger mines with their attacks, and also reducing the initial spread of each attack, with the final talent splitting the projectile in additional 3 projectiles, making the mukas really strong at clearing a lot of buildings at the same time, almost like a grenadier that does a huge amount of damage. And even compared to a bombardier, mukas are way better at clearing defenses. And this makes the muka a perfect replacement of one boat of bombardiers in, for example, a mech bombardier strategy, allowing this attack to deal more damage and also clear a few mines, making the muka one of the strongest squad leaders, especially in clearing attacks. Roberto Falcao spawns flybots that attack buildings, and his active ability intercepts projectiles so that they can't damage the troops. And the talents increase the amount of flybots and also their damage range, and makes the defenders shock the buildings after they are destroyed, and making them return half of the projectiles. And his active ability is one of the best abilities in the game, but only under the right circumstances. In this case, without a lot of surrounding defenses, especially single targets that attack quite often, the defenders can completely block shock launcher shots. But when there are a lot of surrounding defenses, the defenders get destroyed too fast, and the defenses can damage the troops again. Next one up is Sergeant Koa, and he also has to be one of my most favorite squad leaders. He also has a taunt just like Bullet, and he gets the increased healing, damages the taunted defenses, and does more damage based on the amount of health he lost. But his last ability is one of the most broken ones. This makes him a mini bullet, capping every damage at 200. And this makes him insanely strong, because he can basically just be used as a hero, and as long as there are not too many splash damage buildings, which usually attack more often, he stays alive a long time, which makes him perfect to use with, for example, grenadiers, but also with bombardiers. It's possible to use Bullet and Koa both in one attack and tanking the damage on 2 sides. Before this was not possible, and we would have needed to use one rifleman, and this really makes him a game-changing squad leader, more in operations or the mega crab than player bases, but still a very cool squad leader. Queen Nafanua is shocking buildings and has the active ability Lightning Storm, which damages buildings and chains twice. Her talents increase the damage of her active ability and making it chain more often. It also creates a second lightning and makes the hit building attack a random target. And her active ability can be useful, but is it worth it to sacrifice one boat of a potential other troop just to be able to use her active ability? TS26 Spawnpoint is spawning critters after taking some damage, and his talents increases movement and attack speed, giving the spawned critters a shield, and also spawning 4 explosive critters and an additional 8 critters after he is destroyed. And one thing that would have been cool is if he could spawn more critters if he heals back his health with Leech, but unfortunately he is not spawning more critters. TNCMD005 is another troop with the squad command, but he is probably more of an early game squad leader. Unfortunately, tanks usually don't do enough damage. TL40 Doomfetti, his passive ability lets the troops retreat after they take half damage. His active ability Chaff reduces the range of the defenses, but also makes it impossible to attack them. The talents give his passive ability a smoke effect and letting the troops recover some health. It also makes Chaff damage the defenses and letting the troops of the squad attack the defenses affected by Chaff. Kimana spawns healing critters, and the talents increase the stats of the healing critters as well as their spawn rate, and also making the healed troops take less damage. And I think this squad leader is definitely useful. She is stronger than a medic, and the high range can also come in handy sometimes. GRCMD007 is another squad leader with a squad command. SG63 Fire Crab goes after mines and reflects their damage, and the talents make him able to drive over shock mines, increases movement speed after he activates the mine, and increases the damage area of the mines to the defenses, and when he explodes he also damages the defenses around him. CRCMD010 is another squad leader with a squad command, but it might be more of a handicap to use the squad flare. Alejandro gadia gives the remaining squad members a shield after losing a squad member, and the first talent gives all troops a shield at the beginning, with the other talents increasing the base health of the troops and making it impossible to one-shot a squad member if he has more than 50% health remaining. And his last talent is quite strong. When the squad members have a shield, they move and attack 20% faster. That's a very strong boost compared to a regular bombardier, but also the shield can sometimes save the bombardiers when rocket launchers target them. Jeppes Giagura fires a barrage of attacks that are also triggering mines. His squad will also no longer trigger mines, with an increased damage radius of the leader's attacks, with the triggered mines damaging the defenses, but also getting more damage from the leader itself. CMD011 is another squad command leader, but because it's a bombardier, this is actually really strong and she can do a lot of damage quickly. CMD012 is another squad command leader, but even though he doesn't do a lot of damage, he is still very strong because we can drop him later in the attack and then flare him directly onto the buildings he needs to shock. And RCCMD013 is the last squad leader, and he is also a squad command leader, and he's also another strong one. But we can also use the leech engraving, and that way he can also heal up a lot of health quickly. But that is it for this video. That are all the leaders, their abilities and talents. I'd appreciate it if you use code Kaktus in the shop and like the video. Thanks for watching.